You may or may not have heard that last week the House of Representatives passed the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act of 2023, which was originally introduced back in October. Bills brought forward that seek to reaffirm what is already established in our founding documents are typically unnecessary. However, if they are viewed as a gesture of goodwill and likely to achieve more good, nobody takes exception. Based on the bill's title, you might wonder who could possibly object to it. However, when diving into the actual context, it's quite problematic for our country. The bill calls for the United States to combat anti-Semitism in educational institutions by providing tools to the Department of Education and invokes the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination based on race, color, or national origin in programs receiving federal funding. However, it also endorses the definition of anti-Semitism that is outlined by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. One of their 11 examples is described as, quote, claiming the Jews killed Jesus Christ. As most of you know, the specific details around the death and resurrection of Christ are at the foundation of the Christian faith. And according to the New Testament, the Jewish leaders were one of multiple parties who played a role in his death, along with the Roman authorities, as well as one of Jesus' own disciples, Judas Iscariot. This is not disputed, offensive, or threatening to the Jewish community in any way. Rather, it is a matter of historical fact that Christians have a holy obligation to remember and speak about as they wish, especially in America where on paper, we are entitled to speak about anything we choose without fear of retaliation or punishment from government. This is no different than the rights Jewish Americans have to freely speak about their faith views, such as those outlined in the Old Testament, or other religious traditions and conversations they partake in, such as ones denying that Christ was the Son of God. Our fundamental rights don't come from government, they come from God. Therefore, government officials acting as mere office holders have no authority to take them away from its people. Mandating that we as a country take any measure to aid one group, no matter how righteous it may seem, at the expense of jeopardizing the First Amendment rights of any single person, let alone a majority of the entire country, is objectively wrong, un-American, and unconstitutional. No American Jew, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, agnostic, atheist, or other should be okay with that. This bill now sits in the Senate where it can be amended by a committee, debated, or voted on at any time. While some senators have proposed making amendments to evade this potential issue, it is not yet known how much support is behind this effort. With campus protests across America appearing to be front and center as the election approaches, this is something to keep an eye on in the coming days.